play-in teams, current teams in the play-in, that we think could potentially do some damage in the playoffs. Let's start with you.
So I'm going to go with the Chicago Bulls. I have not said one nice thing about the Bulls the entire year. It's hard to compliment them too much. They're sitting at 10th in the East. Actually, only a half game out of 8th. They're 5th in defensive rating on the season. They're up to 11th in net rating. They are in their last 15 games. They're 10-5. They are 3rd in net, 11th in offense. DeMar's true shooting percentage is actually higher this year. Zach has been averaging 29.3, 55, 45, 90 since February. So I guess I have a question for you. I mean, the Lakers, they look good yesterday. They were really active. Lakers obviously looked a little messy. Do you think that this sort of coincided with the addition of Pat Bev, but it's not like Pat Bev has like been amazing or anything like that. Do you think he has just taken on the role of Lonzo, and that's what that has allowed them to sort of like get back to a little bit of where they were last year before Lonzo got hurt?
Not necessarily. So I actually have a lot to say about your take. I want to give the Bulls a lot of credit. I do. And I'm going to. I'm going to give them credit by saying pre-trade deadline and for much of the season, this was not an enjoyable basketball team to watch. They weren't good. Zach LaVine got off to a slow start. A couple things. Number one, Zach started playing out of his mind. He's been great for the better part of 6 weeks now. So offensively, he's given them some juice. And this is a team that has been at or near the bottom of 3-point attempts, 3-point percent, all the advanced, not advanced metrics, all the shooting numbers that matter in the modern NBA. They don't have a modern NBA shot profile. They need Zach LaVine scoring efficiently, and he's done that. So that's given them a boost offensively. I want to give Patrick Beverley a ton of credit here. So on a technicality, he claims that he has never missed the playoffs, right? That's his thing. Now, he was on the Clippers when they didn't make the playoffs, and obviously he was hurt. So I'll give it to him. He gets traded from the Lakers, gets bought out, ends up going to Chicago. And fuck, man, he's put them in a position to be in the playoffs and to keep this streak alive. And we can sit here and talk about Patrick Beverley's antics and how that offends some people and whether or not he's a great defender or not, and whether it's just like the reality is Patrick Beverley makes a huge impact. He makes a huge impact defensively. He makes a huge impact in the spirit of a team. He makes an impact in the makeup, the cohesiveness of a basketball team. Give the guy a lot of credit. They are a different team. Now, I don't think he does the same things that Lonzo does, but he's helped fill that void. He certainly has helped fill that void. And Pat was asked about whether or not he should be getting more credit for the Bulls turnaround. And he was very humble. He said, look, this was a good defensive team before I got here. I've added to it, but I think I've given them the right spirit. I think I've injected my energy to it, and that's all true. And so you got to give Patrick Beverley credit. Here's where, Tommy, I just disagree completely with your take and why I think you have to look at the Western Conference and not the Eastern Conference. The reality is these teams are playing for 7 or 8 in the Eastern Conference. Regardless of what happens in the Eastern Conference standards, it looks like Milwaukee's going to be one of those two teams. Philly's sort of outside looking in right now. Regardless, your first round matchup, if you're 7 or 8 in the Eastern Conference, you're playing one of the 3 of 4 best teams in the NBA this year. In the 76ers, the Celtics, or the Bucks. So congratulations, you made it into the playoffs. Your reward is one of the 3 best teams in the league. And I don't see a scenario, unless I'm crazy, and maybe I am, but I don't see a scenario where anyone that is in the play-in conversation in the Eastern Conference can beat the 76ers, the Celtics, or the Bucks in the first round.
I think
there's no noise to be made.
I'm not going to make that argument.
There's no noise to be made.
I will say this. I think that this Bulls team. Miami. I don't think that any of these teams are beating Milwaukee. I really don't think any of them are beating Philly assuming James is healthy. Boston's like a little worrisome to me. They're like a little worrisome to me.
Okay.
They're a little. They're. There's a. I wouldn't
bring up
bet
all
on
these
it.
fucking advanced metrics. Here you go. Boston's for the season, the only team in the top 5 in offense, the only team in the top 5 defense, have the best net rating in the league. Come on, man. Like, what's worrisome? That Jason Tatum is not making his pull-up jumpers? Okay, I'll give you that.
Let's hear the West team because I have a West team.
No. I just want to say one thing. This is why I love Boston. They have first of all, I've said this many times. They have the most complete roster. They have, in my opinion, they have 2 alphas, and a little nod to Jason here. They have the perfect complement of Alfreds. More on that later this week. Just a hint.
Can I ask one Bulls question? And I'm not saying the Bulls are going to beat Boston by any stretch. When Zach is playing like this, the Bulls have 2 alphas and they have a top 5 defense.
Yeah, again, you're going to run into a math equation in that matchup. You're just going to run into a math equation. Who takes and makes more threes? Boston, by a significant margin. Maybe they're number 1 or number 2. Bulls are 29 or 30. It's just math.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's just math.
For sure.
All right, so look, I think the easy answer here in the Western Conference for a team that could make some noise is the Lakers. I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that because we've talked about them enough. So the teams that are sort of positioned here, the Lakers, obviously, the Oklahoma City Thunders, Mavs and Jazz, looking in. I want my heart of hearts wants to go with the New Orleans Pelicans, but I just can't believe that Zion's going to be back healthy this season. So because of that, I think Minnesota.
If you want to watch the rest of the episode, check out The Old Man of the Three Things, available exclusively on Amazon Music.